Greetings to all, and thanks, my dear friends, for joining us live. Or whenever you find opportunity, if please you will be watching. So greetings and welcome. So today we have the next episode of From Ordinary to Extraordinary. Today we are honored to have the inspirational Mohamed Roushdy with us. Mohamed is a founder of Fintech Bazaar, the CXO advisor and acclaimed chief information officer, spread his experience over different organizations over the years. And he have been in the forefront of transformation and innovation in organizations. And today we are going to listen to his experiences, his pivots. What are the stories behind that? So we find inspiration as we listen to that. And we all start from the ordinary life and come through extraordinary experiences through our mentors, through our superiors, through our teachers. So here we have another interesting journey. And here we have someone who have been building technology within the financial services space over the years and recognized as one of the top 50 CIOs in the Middle East, chief information officers. And it will be a pleasure to host you, Mohammed. Thank you for accepting my invite.
Thank you, Phoebe. I really appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Let us just dive into your stories and experiences. So I have a question. So someone asked you, for example, how was your journey like, and your experiences as an individual? What are some of the things which comes to your mind and what you like to share? Some stories, some inspirations, some thoughts. I'm taking you to the beginning of your career.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I think, it's good that you mentioned you take me from the beginning of my career, and when I started, I graduated from Faculty of Engineering, computer engineering. So I'm supposed to be a computer engineer actually. So at this time was supposed to be in the technical side, maintaining, you designing and so on. And after that, I think I started working a little bit in the software and banking. So I maybe not diverted, I would say. Many of our colleagues also done the same. But the initial part, which is I listened to my superior at this time, is that you have to learn and learn and learn. So I think at this time, really, it is very, very important. Initial or when I started my career, is to learn. And I remember I was not just learning or doing only the part I'm doing. And I remember one of the banks I used to work in Egypt, where I was in the software side. I was doing something in the networking and programming and other, security. And I put my hand in other areas. Every time I see something interesting to me, I go there. I work with people, sit next to them. So I was doing my work, and maybe after working hours or with other colleagues, I started getting, to know their areas, and also found it very interesting. So it was like, bringing different expertise and learning from others, and not to limit yourself from the learning. And I think that's very, very important. And I remember at this time, I was saying at the time I will be a manager. So when I manage a team or people, then I should be able to know what they are doing. So if I'm just focused in my area, of course, in the initial in my career journey, is just to go and learn as much as I can. I should be definitely more focused in one area, but you shouldn't, at the time also ignore other areas around you, because sometimes maybe you can find yourself diverting from what you are doing to something else. So just getting to know people, getting to learn as much as you can from the environment, especially if you are in an organization which really offer you this opportunity to learn. And I remember my boss at this time, it was a lady, and she was okay. She was happy that I'm helping other people, other departments in their job, because I was able to do it being an engineer and so on. So I think this was a very important thing. And I remember I used to read a lot. And even also just it's good to you remind me with many things, really good stories. And I remember this boss, she asked me, how do you get this information? From where? I said, no, I get this magazine, I have this place. At this time, we didn't have the internet and online, what we are having it today. I remember I had to have a subscription, one of the magazines, and I used to get it every month, and I go through the stories and so on. So it was really, it's very important to learn and get people around you, which also encourage you for this learning. So I think it's one of the most important things, which is I tell people when they are doing or starting their career. Some people they think as a very important thing, don't think about money. In the initial years of your career, forget about how much you are getting, but you have to be concerned how much information and data and expertise insights you are getting. This is the real value, really. Money will come later. The more you understand, the more you do a better job and so on, then you will be able to get money later. It's not money. So make sure in the initial, when you start your career, is to concentrate on learning and being knowledgeable, being flexible, as well as helping others. It's another thing is to help other people. Then they will invite you to help them and make sure that it's win-win for everybody. Don't be selfish. It's very important also. So another thing I learned, people which they try to bring in everything under them. I don't want to talk to people or get them to learn what they are doing. They didn't get much of a chances really to grow. So you have to make sure also you collaborate with people around you while you are learning. So I think this was the thing which I can say, I remember from my initial career, in technology, and I think it was in banking and technology at this time too.
Thank you very much. So just I'm curious. So what are some of the the books or magazines which as you mentioned, if you can recollect with respect to technology
No,
or
I,
with
I
respect
used to
to
be,
other?
I used to be working in a very interesting platform for IBM called IBM S400. And I remember there was a magazine around this technology. So, and I know the software for this technology. And so I think I'm trying to remember it was something 400, the magazine itself. So this is the one really I used to get it every month, and it has very nice articles and then about what I'm doing in the job. And so it was really very inspiring at this time. So and later on, of course, the normal BC magazines and other things, which is we start looking at it and making sure that we are we are doing. So this is what what's going on at this time. I would say this was an initial part during my job at this time. So later on, it become books, more than this magazine. It's just like books is something. I start going in development on the programming, and then I go to C++. I remember because I was doing RPG at the beginning for S400, and this is very old language, RPG and COBOL. Not many people are using these things, or some people don't hear about it now. So all of this was really an interesting part, and it's a good time. And I think the more you read, the more you become curious as well. Because you want to know, about this, you want to know about that. You go to your bosses and explain to them, or your colleagues also, and explain to them. All of this was really an interesting, very interesting part. So Alhamdulillah. So that's what I try to remember as well now.
Yeah, thank you. No, sometimes when we reflect, these are sometimes also energizing us in the current world
That
or
is true.
current.
That is true. No, you are right. You are right. I'm very happy that you brought these memories. So it's good that I still have it. So we're just good sometimes to brush the dust from all the memories, and you remember it, and it's very interesting, really.
Thank you.
Alhamdulillah.
So the next question is, your transition to UAE. What, how that happened? Because that is another pivot.
That's true. I did work not very long time in my home country in Egypt at this time. And then I think there was some, either I go UAE or Saudi, I got few jobs here and there. And I remember it was like, people said, oh, everybody would love to live in Dubai. I didn't know about Dubai really at this time. And
Mm.
then there was some ads in the paper, and then I went. It was very interesting. They have some exam, and let me
Mm.
say that the reading and putting yourself, getting good knowledge is very important. So I had to do an exam. I remember this was not an interview only; it was an interview and a written exam. So the written exam was about many things. Technology was part of it, and other how you think, and so on. And to some, I didn't know about the result, but later on, I get to know that I was number one. That's why when the team came back to Dubai, and I think the president of the company or the owner was one of the big names in Dubai, and when he sees the results, he said, "Okay, this is number one. I want number one to join us." And I was
Mm.
hesitant, and then they called me and they said, "Okay," because I never traveled at this time in my life, and they said, "Look, you come here for 2 3 days on the company expense, and then we'll take care of you, and then you're gonna see and you're gonna meet the people, and then you can decide." It was even
Mm.
very surprising to me at this time because I was young. I said, "Oh, would it okay?" Then we said, "Yeah, why not?" So I came here for a few days in Dubai. Really, I was amazed by the place and people and so on. And then I went back and I told my boss, and he was really happy for me. And that's a good thing. He said, "Oh, yeah, that's a good chance. Why not? You go, and if you are not happy, come back. We like each other. We done a good job, really, at this time on one of the banks in Egypt, alhamdulillah." So I came, and then I came here. It takes the first year was a bit difficult, really, because you are with family, with everybody around you, and suddenly the first time to travel out of your country and your comfort zone and your friends and so on. The first user was quite tough, to get acquainted with them. But the good thing around it is that city was good and people are good. So, and after that, after the first year, life became normal and became like home here, I would say. Alhamdulillah. And we're blessed really to be here in UAE. So,
Yeah.
so this was like, the circumstances of how, I came to travel to Dubai, and Alhamdulillah, I said I'm blessed really to be here, and then I start later on, late in my career to travel around, so become Dubai is the center, and I go around to different places in GCC. Even I spent a few years here and there in different countries, and Alhamdulillah, so all great.
Yeah. So that's interesting, like when you interacted with your existing organization where someone is encouraging and saying, Mohammed,
Yes,
proceed, and we are happy for you. And that
that's
is
true.
something. And I think that is leadership as in action, where you are
That
developing
that
more leaders.
that is true. I think that's why the relationship with the team and the people continue till date. Very old colleagues of mine, they are very good friends, and as used to be my also seniors. My supervisors. Still, the relationship is there because it's a win-win at the end of the day. And if people like the good thing for others, and then they help them out, people has to grow. People has to be replaced at a time. Nobody could be in the same place for good. All of this is very important for community and for people. So I think people should learn also, as I said, to give, not only to take. So always giving and helping, even giving with an advice or with the knowledge, is something really important and good. So people should, look at this very important. Yeah.
Thank you, Mohammed. So, audience, I interacted and connected with Mohammed on LinkedIn, and I reached out, and he was very willing to be part of the program and share his
Thank
story.
you.
So, thank you, Mohammed, for that.
My pleasure should be my pleasure. Thank you.
And now I just want to explore with you, like, what are some of the inspirations which you experienced during your work? Like inspirations in the like someone who have given that I'm not asking the name, but to give the context in which which helped you to think differently, or which might have led to
Yeah,
new
I
opportunities.
that's a good thing. I just trying to remember. Of course, it's not maybe one person or one place, but I remember one person comment or advice to one of my team members. She was a girl, and she has some problem with her title, with what she's gonna do, and he was a CEO of one of the banks. And I really like what he said. Until now, I remember he said, "Me people makes titles. Title doesn't make people." So it's not the title who makes you. You make things yourself. So you, as a person with your knowledge, with how you are working, with how you're interacting with people, does make you, your whatever title. Forget about the title. It makes you
Yeah.
personality and your existence, how people look at you. And I think that's very, very important. So people should concentrate on themselves very much, not on the position or the seat they are sitting on. So that's very, very important, because this also the way it takes you from one place to another. And then the confidence, if you have it, then nothing like it. So it's very important that, to go this way. The other thing really I need to mention, being in the technology part, something we lack as engineers. The thinking of engineers are, like I said, like it's 0 and 1. So you are very much a techie, and becoming a technologist, the more you are near to the machine, the more as well you don't deal with people. Then there is an issue here. I remember I done a training in IBM when I was in my between the third and fourth year of Faculty of Engineering. And then I think it is also training let me think differently, because I saw that the hardware engineers, which I was working with them, he didn't get promoted much. While the head of the CEO or GGM at this time of IBM or whatever the company used to come from sales and system engineers, people who are dealing with vendors, with people. So I found it that it's very good to deal with machine, but at a time you should move from the machine to people. So because the more you're dealing with technology only, with hardware only, you stuck there. You could be great maybe in a lab, maybe in a company doing manufacturing and so on, designing things, which is great thing. You can do great. But here in our part of the world, here we don't do much of design manufacturing of technology. So it is very important for me at this time to be in a place where you can even deal with people and technology, so you can have both worlds at the same time. Maybe that's why when I work in banking, and people were surprised I work in banking because I'm an engineer. So we say, "Why are you doing banking?" This is the mentality here. A bank means someone come from business or accounting. I said, "No, I'm an engineer, but I work in banking as a technologist, so I'm in the IT team." And then what happened later, which was very, very important for me, I wanted to get out, sorry, from being a technologist only to see the broader life. And then I done my MBA with Manchester Business School, and this was one of my best decision I said I have taken, to join Manchester Business School for my MBA. And then I wanted to get out from being only a technology person to be a business strategy, management, operations, international relationships, and so on. So leadership and all of these studies you do in the MBA program. The MBA program was really very tough as well at this time with Manchester Business School. So this was a big thing for me to go into MBA, study, and then start thinking out from being a CIO and banking only and a technology person, which talk about servers, storage, networking, security, and all of the stuff, to start thinking about use cases, about businesses, and how to put a strategy, what is the winning strategies, how this big organization succeeded, what other failed. So I think this was very, very important, and I'm still, alhamdulillah, I'm blessed that I done the MBA with a great school like Manchester Business School. And then it helps a lot later on, and also just created another big community from the school globally. And then your thinking started to be differently. And then later on, as you can see also, I started being involved much more in social channels, mainly LinkedIn, where I prefer to share my knowledge, not just to. That's why in any place or any event I participate, I try to put what I learned or what's important, so people could learn from what I'm I'm making, and at the same time I can learn from people feedback and so on. So it become win-win for everybody. So I think that was a very important for me to move from being a technology only into to be a person which you can be, like understand business strategy, management, operations, whatever you can call it. And later on, I worked like, or I done four banks, launched four banks. Hilal Bank was the first, and one of the my most successful career stories was the Hilal Bank. To get a bank like in a 4 months time with four branches, with many digital channels, with many digital first in UAE, not in UAE and GCC. I mean, the first time at this time that you can get your checkbook and you get your debit card on the spot. 2008, this not today, and even today, not many people doing it. So we got many great things, and this was like around 4 months only implementation with mini branch. So this was another big thing for me to be able to look at each and everything in the organization, because we're building something big, a bank from scratch. You need to have the strategy, you need to have the product in place. I have to put the technology in place, then we get the risk team. So I could, live the life of a big or a bank. A bank is also mission critical and very critical organization, and very, very well also governed by the central bank and so on, regulated. So I have to understand all of this. So this helped me big time to understand the business, scene. This came at the same time while I was doing my MBA. And
Mm,
that's why
mm,
even I remember I done my MBA, because this MBA also was a bit tough. And then we had, alhamdulillah, at this time, a project thesis. So I have to do a project for 6 months. So my project was around, strategy changes in startups or banking. Why is the strategy change when the bank launch and so on. So this is what I'm saying, like, this transformation from being a technologist into a business and technology and bringing all was so important for me, alhamdulillah.
thank you very much. So, I'm just curious. Do you remember some inspirational stories from your management days, from the Manchester school days, which might have also triggered some new thoughts in you? Anything which you can recall?
No, I remember just in general the use cases we used to get, because see, we see only the life of what you can call the
Hmm.
success of the big firms only, like, GE, like whatever, all the name of these big ones. But the great thing there is to look at case studies, which is companies which is you couldn't make it, or companies they made it, why they made it. So I think this what's really was very, very important for me during my studies. So the case studies which we have seen, and you don't get it easily, because you wouldn't really go and read a case study and see what is the solution, what you need to be done, and later on you get to know what they already have done. All of this really was the biggest thing for me for my MBA, plus the studies of what we try to do, to understand the concepts and the frameworks and so on. But going around this case studies was my best experience I remember from the MBA. The other thing which is important too, that I come from banking, while my other colleagues they came from different industries, and we all have to work together in one project, for example, collaborate in a case study. So you could see the different thinking of people from different industries and different culture and so on. So I think the diversification of people as well in the project or on the MBA, all of this was really very inspiring to me, and it helps me a lot, to in my career as well, to understand maybe the success stories, or what is the success factors you need to have, and so on.
Mm, mm. I think one theme which is coming is about that huge focus on learning, continuous learning, which
That is
is
true.
yeah, and
I will tell you. Let me tell you a quote which is I really like. I just get to know in LinkedIn, one of my connections. I think one lady used to work for the World Economic Forum, and then a few years back, just before COVID, and she's one of the ambassadors, or one of the people which is working in this forum. And then I was discussing with her in LinkedIn. I said, so what you will tell us about the theme or what you learned during the World Economic Forum this year. And she said something which is still I repeat it every time when I speak. And I remember said, okay, we learn, the most important things, which is we came out from one of the great quotes, is you have to learn how to learn.
Mm.
And it is true. Now, learning is different from what we learned yesterday or before. Learning is not just only a book or you go to a school. You need to learn how to learn. So it's very important now that the learning sources are different and different from people to people, but you need to know how to learn. It's very, very important to know how to learn during these days. And things are going very fast. It changes more faster. So you need to see, how to learn in this very fast, maybe environment or life we are living in.
Thank you. May I know how was your transition to the CIO role for the first CIO role? How did it land in? How did that opportunity land, and
Yeah,
how that story is all about?
yeah, yeah. Like I remember, sometimes many things, factors come and help you in that.
Mm.
And I was like heading IT for a small bank, and then there was another bank going into conversion. I think National Bank of Sharjah and Sharjah Islamic, and they wanted someone which knows the platform, which is I've been working in this core banking for many years. They want someone to speak Arabic, and they want someone to work very hard in the transformation. So it seems all this came together, and I remember the CEO of the bank, Allah yarhamuh, when he interviewed me, he is very techy. I was surprised that the CEO of a bank, no technology, and he was asking me many questions. So maybe this helped me a lot because he's different. So when he was asking many technical questions and so on, and he sees the answers, maybe as I said, I read a lot and I used to read a lot as well and know and so on, and have the expertise of the system which they are using. So all of these factors, you said, okay, I think I am the right candidate for this opportunity. And then you prove yourself because even in a few months you could ask you, thank you, we don't need you. And
Yeah,
it's very important here is to develop your people. I like the word or saying you are good as your people. So if your people are good, you are good. So the
yeah,
very important here is to, I remember I used to tell because I come also, as I said, I like to know knowledge. I like to know new things. So I used to go to Jitex or before we have the other conferences for technology and banking. And I was surprised people does not go and attend, presentation and see what's happening. So I used to tell my team in one of these banks or few of these banks, the conference is there. Every one of you will go one day, or few of them, every 2, 3 go one day, and you come back to me. You tell me what did you learn, what's new. You go guys and look for things new for us. You have to go and find new things. It's not only sitting in the office doing your job, going home or getting something maybe through email. You should go. So I encourage people to go, and when they come back, they share what they learn or what they get new. And if they found something good, I go there also and see. And I try to steer this kind of knowledge sharing, and also people go and learn new things, which is I think this helped me as well building your team, building your people. And I think I'm very happy that many of my colleagues now, which used to be team members 15 years back, they're CIOs in banks, and then mashallah. Sometimes I work for them as a consultant as well. And I don't shy from working for them as a consultant. I was their boss maybe 15, 20 years back. So it's all win-win for everybody.
yeah. So you're highlighting that people to people relationship as well as how we keep on sharing that information, how important that is
That's
in
true.
order to be
That's true.
continuing that growth mindset.
That's
Thank
true.
you.
That's true. That's
Thank
true.
you, because that is a the leadership behavior which help others to lead and be
That
growing in
that's
their
right.
case.
That's right. I'm very happy. As I said, honest today, like I see many of my colleagues, my team members, they are in a C level in banks, so they are very, inshallah will advance in their career. So that's a great thing, alhamdulillah.
Thank you. I think you answered a couple of questions which actually shared with you.
That's right.
Now,
Thank you.
now I know we time passed and it was nice that. So
That's
when you
okay.
look back on your journey, what are you most proud of, and what excites you about the future?
I think I would say the most thing proud of, like, I work in many organizations, Uh, till date, if you ask, this organization, they get a positive feedback. So this was important. I tell people it's very important that any place you work for, you leave, something. You have to make sure that you have something to be proud of. So your systems, you're proud of your knowledge, whatever it is, yeah. But you leave a legacy behind you, and very important that you have the good relation. So I think, alhamdulillah, so the very important thing that each and every organization I work for, I could go and see them, I could go and work with them again. And I think
Hmm.
that is very, very important for me. When it comes to technology, I remember, there was something, this was very interesting to mention, but this is very, very long time in Egypt. We used to be the first bank, like you can go to a different branch and withdraw money from your own other branch. This is, although now it's normal, but it was like each branch has their own system. And I remember I used to done this kind of development program where I can go to any place in the country and I can get money from whatever branch. And I used to be very happy to go and do it. Like, I'm happy that I know that this is what's happening now. It's running and it's my work. So the other thing now, which is I'm saying, you leave a legacy. I tell some people, I was discussing some people about some work done recently, not recently, a few years back in one of the banks I started. They still, maybe this, new things we have done a few years back is still there now. And I'm very happy that I done this something new. It was the first thing done in the country. So
Hmm.
sometimes when you become digital first, you done something new. I really become very proud of on technology because he came with something which is not normal. So this is one of the things really I really enjoy, that I try to do things differently. Not just to go repeat things, which is easier for everybody. But I think this is one of the good things. But as I said, if I go to organization I work for, what I really proud of that I can go back anytime and have a good relationship with people.
Thank you. I think the theme of one is continuous learning, as well as another aspect is relationship with respect to the people we work
That's
with,
true. That's true. That's
is
true.
standing out. And I know maybe from a the current generation who are coming to the workforce, um, and how they should prepare themselves when they are transitioning to career. Any thoughts which you like to share?
As I said, they have to be flexible to change. Because the world is changing a lot nowadays. Some jobs will be disappear, new jobs will be coming. So adaptability is very important and flexibility. So this is the most important thing people should think about.
Mm.
You cannot do what has been done before. You might do a job now or you might do thing now, and suddenly you might see, it's not. We have to change. And the other thing, don't give up anytime
Mm.
because life is not easy, and I face it even now and later and many times, the road is not always, beautiful and everything is good. No, it's just we always struggle. We have to put efforts. Nothing really. When you look at people who are successful, they didn't be succeeded, easy. Though the luck or whatever circumstances does play a role, but these people they work hard to be successful. So it's very important that you have to put an effort, be flexible, and adapt to change. That's very, very important. Don't resist the change because,
Mm.
as people are saying, change is the only constant. So you have to make sure that you, and whatever age, small, big, whatever, that change is happening and you should adapt to change.
Thank you, Mohammed, for sharing that. So,
Thank you.
dear audience, I know we had time has flown, and I like to appreciate the opportunity to interact with you today, Mohammed, and also the
Thank you so
audience.
much.
Thanks for listening, and yeah, so a couple of interesting takeaways for all of you, and as he mentioned, life is having its own struggles at each points of time, and that is where we find the ordinary and shift to that extraordinary phase. And one aspect, as mentioned, keep learning, that is important, and see whatever information and connect with the people, and nurture that relationship continuously. So, Mohammed, thank you very much for joining
Thank
me
you.
today, and it is a pleasure to have you
The same
with.
here, and thank you very much.